I need to renew my Thai marriage visa next month, and I've just started putting together the documents to do that, and I thought some of this information might be useful for other people. For people living in Thailand who aren't working, marriage visas or retirement visas are the most common, and in the past I've had both. Retirement visas are easier to get. You will get your visa on the day that you apply, but there's an age limit. You need to be at least 50, and the financial requirements are higher. For a retirement visa, you either need 800,000 baht in a Thai bank account, or you need to show an income of 65,000 baht a month, compared to a marriage visa, which is 400,000 baht in a Thai bank account, or 40,000 baht a month. For a marriage visa, there are a lot more documents to prepare, and you have to wait quite a long time. After you apply for your visa, you probably have to wait about a month for the visa to arrive, but immigration will give you an extension of a month while you're waiting. The more observant among you will have noticed that the list of requirements is in Thai. Thais don't really like dealing with foreigners. Whenever I'm with my wife, Thais will only want to speak with her and never to me. If I ask a question in Thai and the question is understood, they will reply to her and not me. And it's the same with immigration. Whenever I go to immigration, I need to go with my wife, and although the visa is for me to allow me to stay in the country, it's her they want to speak to. I just sit there and occasionally have to sign my signature, but she does all the talking. Similarly, if a foreigner applies for a Thai marriage visa, it's probably assumed that the person's wife will prepare all the documentation, so the list of requirements is all in Thai. Now some caveats, and I'm not a visa expert. I'll try not to give you misleading information, but some of the things I say may not be 100% correct, so you'll need to check with other sources. Also, if you ask questions in the comments section, I may not be able to answer them. I'm going to be reading some Thai, so as usual I need to apologise in advance for my bad pronunciation and tones, and because this is an official immigration document, it uses formal language and there may be some vocabulary that I'm not familiar with. This is section 1, and at the top, Raigan Truat Ekasan Yung Ko Yu To Prapet Garani Palaya Kon Thai. This is the list of documents that need to be checked to extend a Thai marriage visa. And in Thailand, visas can only be extended. If you don't have one and you need to get one for the first time, you need to do so outside of Thailand. And you can do that in your country of residence, Thai embassy or consulate, or if you're already in Thailand, you need to go outside of Thailand to the nearest embassy or consulate to get your first non-O visa. So you'll just apply for a 90-day non-O visa, then come back into Thailand, and once you have that non-O visa, you can then extend it in Thailand. I live in the south of Thailand, and I've been down to the Thai consulate in Penang, Malaysia a few times, although several years ago. If you're in northern Thailand or central Thailand, you can go to the nearest embassy or consulate in Laos or Cambodia. The first item on the list, 1.1, Bep Form Tomo Jet Prom Rup Thai Kanat Song Nil. This is a form that immigration will give you, and it's quite easy to fill in. And Rup Thai Kanat Song Nil is a 2-inch photo. And when you go to get these passport photos, they normally give you about a dozen. So it's very tempting to use a photo that you got from last year. But immigration sometimes do check, and what they want is a new photo every year. So if you use the same photo that you've previously used, they will sometimes refuse your application. And here's the reverse side of the form where you sign and stick your photo. Item 1.2, Samnao Nang Sư Dern Tang. This is copies of your passport, and they will want copies of every used page, and sometimes they will actually ask for copies of every page, including the unused pages. 1.3, Samnao by Samkan Gan Somrot Koro Sam. This is your marriage certificate. 1.4 Nang Sư Rap Rong Gan Somrot Koro Song. Now, Thailand is a huge centre for fakes and counterfeits. So it's not enough just to give them your marriage certificate, because that might be a counterfeit copy. So what you need to do is to go to your local Umpur office where they register births and marriages and get another document called Koro Song, which confirms that you really are married. If you were married in Thailand, this confirmation document is called Koro Song. If you were married outside of Thailand, there's another document called Koro Yusip Song, KR22. Garani Jot Tabian Tang Pratet. Tang Pratet means like a country outside of Thailand. Nai Tabian Raprong Maigern Hogdern. So this confirmation document shouldn't be older than 6 months. The next document is called Sotomo Song, or STM2, and this is the terms and conditions for staying in Thailand. And immigration will give you all of these forms, and this one's in Thai and English. And what this one basically says is that if you're given a visa for one thing and your situation changes, then your visa is no longer valid. So if you find a job in Thailand and you get a non-B visa, which allows you to work, and your employment is terminated, not only do you lose your job, but you also lose your visa. So you have to either get a new visa or get out of Thailand fairly quickly. And if you get a marriage visa and then you divorce, not only do you lose your wife, but you also lose your visa. The STM2 form was item 1.5 on the list of requirements. Item 1.6, consent to disclosure of information. They want to know if you've been in trouble with the law in Thailand. Are you currently having any criminal or civil cases pending in the Thai court? And have you been imprisoned in Thailand? And if you answer yes, this document gives them permission to get more information about your crimes. Item 1.7 is making sure you're aware of the penalties if you dare to overstay your visa. And overstaying is considered quite a serious crime in Thailand. If you're caught overstaying inside the country, you can be jailed, fined and deported. If you're caught at the border as you try to leave the country, the penalty has changed in the last few years. A number of years ago, if you were caught overstaying as you left the country, you were just fined, and the maximum fine was 20,000 baht. You'd pay your fine, they would wipe your sheet clean, and then you could come straight back into Thailand with no problems at all. That all changed a few years ago. And now, if you overstay your visa, you are then blacklisted from re-entering Thailand. And the length of the time you are blacklisted depends on the length of time you overstayed. And this form will explain all that information. So for example, if you overstay more than 90 days, you are then forbidden to go back into Thailand for 1 year. If you overstay for more than 10 years, and lots of foreigners have overstayed for more than 10 years in the past, then you are forbidden from entering Thailand for life. This year, there's an extra form that isn't shown on the list of requirements, and this is about COVID. So if you can't leave Thailand because you can't enter your destination country, or you can't get a letter from your embassy, or there are no flights available, you can fill in this form to get permission for a temporary stay in Thailand until you can get the documents that you need. On to section 2, and 2.1 is Samnao Bat Prachachon Palaya. This is your wife's national ID card. It needs to be copied back and front on one sheet of paper. And whereas the other documents I normally copy in black and white, I normally do this one in colour. I'm not sure if it makes any difference, it's just something that I do. Item 2.2, Samnao Tabian Ban Palaya. This is your wife's blue house registration book. And foreigners can't be in this unless they've got permanent residency status or citizenship. Foreigners can get a yellow house registration book, and some years ago I spent considerable effort getting one, but immigration are completely uninterested in the yellow one. All they want to see is your wife's blue one. Item 2.3, Some now sutibat lat re is and or some now tabian rap wrong but, and in brackets tami if have. So if you have children, you need to give copies of their birth certificates. Item 2.4, Bantuk Toi Kam Kong Kontai. Kontai is Thai person, and in brackets Ekasan Sam, document 3. So what this appears to be is a document number 3, that my wife has to fill in, but it wasn't included in the package that I got from immigration, so I'll have to get this document next time I go to immigration. 2.5, I'm not sure about, to be honest. This section 2, Ekasan Kong Ku Somrot, is sort of documents from my wife. And 2.5 is something about a statement from her about me. And I'm not sure what it is, and I can't remember from last time, so we just have to find out when we go to immigration. 2.6, Panti Ban, is a map of your house, and you can use Google Maps and just get a print, or you can draw it by hand. 2.7, 2.8 and 2.9 are all photos. Pap Thai. 2.7, Pap Thai, Crop Krua. This is a photo of your family, and it doesn't specify a location, so this photo can be taken anywhere. 2.8, Pap Thai, Hai Pragot Hen Ban Lekti. You need to take this photo with your wife in front of your house, and in the photo you need to be able to see the house number. 2.9, Pap Thai, Nai Ban Pak, Pragot Gan Yu Asayu Kong Krop Krua. So this is another photo of your family, but this one does specify location. This photograph of your family needs to be taken inside your house. Section 3 is all about money, and previously I stated there are 2 ways you can satisfy the financial requirements. The first is to have 400,000 baht in a Thai bank account, and this is 311, 312 and 313. 311, Nang Sư Rap Rong Gan Mi Ngern Phak Thanakan Nai Pratet Thai. So you've got to have money deposited in a Thai bank account. And you need to get a document from your bank no more than 7 days before you go to immigration, and it's got to show that you've got a minimum of 400,000 baht and that that money has been deposited for longer than 2 months. 312, Sam now, Samut Thanakan Nai Pratet Thai. When you open a bank account in Thailand, they will give you a bank book, and you need to get that updated just before you go to immigration, and you need to give them copies of every page. 313, Bai Jang Raigan Banshi. You need to request from your bank a 1-year statement. Now, the information in the statement about deposits and withdrawals will be exactly the same information as shown in your bank book. Why they need both, I don't know, but that's what they asked for. The second way to satisfy the financial requirements is to show that you have an income of at least 40,000 baht per month. This is 321 and 322. However, 321 is no longer applicable. 321 is about getting a letter from your embassy in Thailand to say that you have an income of at least 40,000 baht per month. But about 4 years ago, Thai immigration stopped accepting these letters. The problem was that the embassies didn't do any check-in. You could write to your embassy and tell them that you had an income of 100,000 baht a month. They would write a letter to Thai immigration, but it wasn't true. And Thai immigration sort of got wind of this, and then decided to stop accepting these letters. With this requirement, you have to transfer money into Thailand from abroad every calendar month. You can't sort of transfer 150,000 baht one month and then not transfer anything the next month. Money has to be seen to be coming into Thailand every month, and it needs to be more than 40,000 baht, and you need to show that it comes from outside of Thailand. So what I do now is I transfer money every month, and then after the transfer I make a request to my bank to give me details of that transfer, and those details will show that the money comes from abroad and not from within Thailand. If you have a marriage visa, you can work provided that you have a work permit, and section 3.3 is about work. So 331 Samnao by Anuyat Tamngang, and this is a work permit, so you have to give them a copy of your work permit. 332 Nangsu Raprong Borisat. This will be a letter from the company you're working for addressed to immigration, and I'm not sure exactly what details it needs to include because I don't work. But for example, it will have things such as how long you've worked for the company, what you do, and how much you're paid each month. 333 is a separate requirement about salary, and I'm not sure what some of it says. I'm not sure what po ngo do nung is. I can see Sam Dern 3 months, so it looks as if it wants information for the last 3 months about your salary. And it also says that you have to earn at least 40,000 baht per month. 334 Raigan Parsi Ngan. Parsi is tax, so this will be a document about tax. And because I don't work myself, I'm not sure exactly what you need to do, but you'll either have to go to your accounts department where you work to get a document about tax, or you might need to go to your local tax office. On the form, there's also a section 4. Now, section 4 has never affected me personally, but it doesn't mean that it won't affect you. It says Ekasan Un, other documents, and then it goes on to say Ti Jiao Panakngang Henwa Jampen. And what this means is any other documents that the immigration officer considers to be necessary. What you need to remember with Thai immigration, there are no hard and fast rules. Everything is at the discretion of the immigration officer. So if after giving them all the other information, they're still not satisfied with something, they can ask for whatever they want. I hope that this little overview has been useful. If you're in Thailand and you're married and you're over 50, it may just be easier to apply for a retirement visa. Marriage visas are more difficult to get, but there are some advantages. The financial requirements are lower, and provided you can get a work permit, you can work. If you have a retirement visa, you are strictly prohibited from doing any kind of work. If you have any comments, corrections or questions, please leave them in a comment below. But as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not a visa expert and I may not be able to answer your questions. A quick apology to my subscribers for the lack of content recently. It's been quite a difficult time with COVID and having the children at home all the time, learning online. I have very little free time. I'm trying to get back to normal, and when I do so, I'll upload some more videos. So thank you for watching.